This week's Parsha is Parshas Lecha. Parshas Lecha, Avram asks Hashem, will I have a child? It's important to note that having a child for Avram meant a lot more than it meant for most people. Avram was the founder of the Jewish nation, the founder of the Jewish ideal, the first person to recognize Hashem and to reject idols. It's very important that he have someone to follow in his footsteps. Very important that he has a people who could descend from him. Without a child, that would not be possible. So Avram asks Hashem, will I have a child? Hashem responds, yes, you will have a child. Immediately, Avram believes in Hashem, he trusts in Hashem, and he doesn't ask any questions. No assurances needed, no evidence needed. Just because Hashem said he'll have a child, he will have a child, and that's all he needed to know. Next, Hashem promises that offspring, or the child's offspring, I should say, would eventually inherit the land of Israel, looking way into the future, meaning not his immediate son, his offspring, the nation that will be born from his offspring, will eventually inherit the land of Israel. To that, Avram responds, Bameh Eida. How do I know? Show me the proof, show me the evidence, give me some assurances. I want to know that it's really going to happen. The question is obvious, of course. If Avram believed Hashem that he would have a child, why didn't he believe him that that child, or that children's offspring, will inherit the land of Israel? What's the difference? In fact, Avraham was physically incapable of having a child by the laws of nature. And still, as soon as Hashem promised him that he'd have a child, Avram believed him. But now Hashem promises that in the future his children will inherit a land, the land of Israel. He doesn't believe him. What's the difference? He doesn't trust in him. He needs assurances. He needs evidence. Why did he believe in one and not believe in the other? The answer is that Avram was not asking, how do I know that it's really going to happen? He wanted to know, how is it possible that it will happen? Meaning that the Jewish people, his descendants, would have a long-term relationship with Hashem. And that relationship would have inevitable pitfalls. There would be times when the Jewish people, his offspring, would sin, and they would disrupt the relationship that they have with Hashem and not merit, at that point, entering the land of Israel. And that's not what he wanted. And he also didn't want to get a free gift from Hashem that they will inherit whether they merit or not, because that's not what he wanted. He wanted the Jewish people would be steadfast in their beliefs and be deserving of inheriting the land of Israel. So he was asking, Bameh Eida, how is that even possible? How can you promise me that the Jewish people will merit entering the land of Israel, and will merit that inheritance, not only just get it? To that Hashem responded that they will have the sacrifices, in which these days it would be prayer. That is the way we mend our relationship with Hashem. Sacrifices / prayer is the means, the instrument that has kept the Jewish people's relationship with Hashem intact, even though it has been disrupted many, many times, and at points quite severely. But prayer, sacrifices, they mend that relationship. That is why it's not that Avram didn't believe that the promise that his offspring would inherit the land of Israel. He wanted to know, how is it even possible that would happen? Of course, Hashem could do anything. Even if someone who is naturally incapable of having children, if Hashem promises him he'll have children, he can have children. But he was asking him, how are they going to mend the relationship with Hashem long term in order to deserve inheriting the land of Israel?